So first of all, I'm going to be reading through some of the patch notes just so I don't get anything wrong, and then I'll get into showing you guys how to craft certain things now that you're going to need, get into some major changes with some of your favorite armors as well. So first of all, the armors are now broken up into 4 tiers basically. You have your combat focused armor, which is leather, cured leather, composite and scorpion armor, survival focused armor, cloth for Wayfarer, polar bear and sandworm armor, stealth armor, Gillian Hunter, workshop armor is the ST700, the CX400 and nano armor. So now, obviously, with the workshop armor, they have their own stats, so it's up to you what kind of situation you want to use them for. The devs go on to say, the changes we've made today address gaps in how the categories scale and specialize. We quickly identified we only had one easily accessible armor set for the desert biome, cloth. As a tier 1 item, this didn't offer any scalability alongside other tech, so the addition of the tier 3 Wayfarer armor provides an option for the warmer climate. Previously, fur and polar bear armor were both tier 2 armor, providing similar solutions for the Arctic, survival and similar expensive costs. We have reduced the effectiveness and the cost of fur, keeping it at tier 2, and moved the polar bear armor to tier 3 using more advanced materials, which I'll get into in a moment, and reducing the polar bear pelt requirement. So basically what that means is they've nerfed fur armor, buffed polar bear armor. They've moved the polar bear armor to tier 3, and it's now using new materials. So yeah, if you don't have the polar bear talent unlocked to make the armor, you're lumbered with tier 2 fur armor, so you're going to have a harder time in the Arctic now. Basically, that's what that means. Stealth armors provide a unique benefit with a large stealth buff, but become too heavily weighted in this direction while lacking in baseline performance. We've increased the baseline stats for this set, but lowered the stealth buff as well. With addition to any other talents they can give, will still reach incredibly high performance levels without becoming immune to threats. Okay, so basically they've tweaked stealth armors, which is the Gillian Hunter set. Finally, Composite was asking a too high cost for the buffs it provided. We have buffed them to account for the steep price. In particular, durability has received a substantial improvement. We've also removed gold from the resource required. Okay, so you no longer need gold for the composite armor. I'm going to read from the patch notes regarding the new armor benches. We've added 2 new armor benches, so you have an option at every tier, allowing for easier grouping of different classes of armor and providing a simpler system for us to add and adjust armor sets in the future. The tier 1 drying rack is the same as before, with the only addition being cured leather as a recipe, a new requirement for the cured leather armor, which I'll get into in a moment. And rebalanced hunter and polar bear armors at tier 3. The tier 2 textiles bench also stays the same, except for the move of the polar bear and hunter armors to the tier 3 bench to account for their balance changes. The tier 3 advanced textiles bench can craft the new Wayfarer armor, cure leather armor, and pre-existing hunter and polar bear armors. It can also craft platinum weave, which I'll also get into in a moment. A new material required for the Wayfarer, cured leather, and rebalanced hunter armors, which I'll get into in a minute because a lot of people aren't going to be happy with the hunter armor recipe changes. The tier 4 electric textiles bench can craft all armor sets from tiers 1, 2, 3, alongside composite armor. The scorpion and sandworm boss armor can be crafted at any of the 3 textile benches. These 2 new benches clearly distinguish the armor sets into respective tiers and allows tier 3 armor to feel like a real milestone. This also provides viable options to comparison to workshop armors, making you less dependent on them and giving you more flexibility in what you choose to bring down to the surface. Now, them key final words there are really important because it's something I reiterate on my live streams, nearly every stream. We don't need more drop ship load, like slots. It's really down to the player if they want to drop down with and fill up an extra 5 slots of dropship inventory with 5 armor pieces, or craft armor on the planet. Now that's a decision the player's got to make. That isn't the dev's fault. I don't think the dev should throw more armor slots at dropships and let everyone become superhuman. So I really like that. I like the wording. I can't complain with that whatsoever. Again, it's down to the players. If people don't like the amount of dropship slots it's got, you have the option to save 5 slots. That's just my opinion, though. I know a lot of people want more dropship slots, but I'm firmly against that. And I love this. I love now we've got more armor selection, so we don't have to use additional 5 slots if we don't want to. To craft the new armor pieces, you are going to need the one of 2 new benches. So the tier 3 bench is called the Advanced Textiles bench, and it costs 20 iron, 6 wood, 8 epoxy, 4 rope, and 4 steel screws. And that can be crafted on the machining bench. And the tier 4 electric textiles bench requires 30 steel ingots, 8 electronics, 15 concrete mix, and 18 steel screws, and it is electric powered, and it will require 2500 power. Okie dokie, so let's get into the new armors and how to craft them and what new materials you're going to need to craft them. So first of all, you are going to need the Advanced Textiles bench. You want to unlock that and unlock the Wayfarer's set, the Cured Leather set, and here you have the Hunter Armor set. These have all been moved around. It looks a lot more fluid now, and I've just noticed there's some new icons for the weapons as well. Interesting. Anyways, and you've got the polar bears there. If you have the talent for the polar bear armor, great. If not, well, you're gonna have to suffer and use fur armor. Anyways, you want to go ahead and unlock these, as you won't have them unlocked. So hopefully you can spare a couple of blueprint points out of your hundreds you've probably got. So once you've gone ahead and unlock them, you will see that you need something called Platinum Weave to craft the Wayfarer set. You guessed it, you need platinum, and a whole lot of it. Your tier 3 bench, you will now see Platinum Weave. You are going to need 1 platinum ingot and fiber to create 1 platinum weave. So it's not that bad, you know, you're just going to need to stock up on your platinum if you haven't really got that much. To craft the armor, you are going to need 4 platinum weave for your head, 10 platinum weave for your chest, 4 platinum weave for your arms, 8 platinum weave for your legs, and 2 platinum weave for your feet. So once you've crafted them, you can alter these also. Just right now, I have just got some random stuff on here to show you, and the stats are as follows. For the headpiece, plus 4 physical resistance, plus 2% cold resistance, plus 10% heat resistance, plus 4% exposure resistance. If you have the full set equipped, you will get plus 5% desert exposure resistance, minus 10% water consumption, and then if you've got an alteration on it, you will get your alteration underneath. Your chest piece is plus 12% physical resistance, plus 6% cold resistance, plus 30% heat resistance, plus 8% exposure resistance. Legs, plus 8% physical resistance, plus 4% cold resistance, plus 20% heat resistance, plus 4% exposure resistance. And now onto the arms, plus 4% physical resistance, plus 2% cold resistance, plus 5% heat resistance, plus 3% exposure resistance. And finally the feet, 2% plus 2 physical resistance, plus 2% cold resistance, plus 5% heat resistance, plus 2% exposure resistance. So this is now your new desert go-to armor, basically, if you want. It looks incredible. So now, the cured leather armor. You will see that you need something additional to the platinum weave here. Cured leather. Now, it's not here. It took me a while to figure this out when I was testing it on Wednesday. Let's go and have a look. I need a few drying racks because they serve more than one purpose of drying meat on now. So here you will see you now need to have leather, and a lot of it, and tree sap. This will now cure leather on the drying racks. So let's just go and pop some leather on here. And pop some tree sap in there. And you can see it takes a while, but you will start curing leather on the drying racks. But I'd recommend building multiple drying racks so you can go ahead and get this job done a little bit quicker. Once that's done, you will get your cured leather. And from there, you will go back to your tier 3 textiles bench. And then you'll be able to craft your cured leather with your platinum weave and cured leather. It's a Wayfarer armor, and all other crafted armors you can put alterations on this as well. It doesn't look very good. I prefer the Wayfarer armors, looks much better than this. But let's get into it. The head armor is +4 physical resistance, +4% cold resistance, +4% heat resistance, +3% exposure resistance. And if you have the full 5-piece set, you will get +10% health regen, +10% stamina regen. And to the armor piece, it's +14 physical resistance, +14% cold resistance, +6% heat resistance, +4% exposure resistance. Cured leather legs, +12% physical, +8% cold resistance, +6% heat, +4% exposure resistance. Now the arms, +4 physical resistance, +4% cold resistance, +4% heat resistance, +3% exposure resistance. I should have put a resistance counter on the screen for every time I said that word. And now the cured leather feet, +4 physical resistance, +2% cold resistance, +2% heat resistance, to +2% exposure resistance. So that is your leather armor. Honestly, I'm probably never going to use this. I never used the old leather armor in all fairness. But there's the option there if you want to use it. And now, if you liked your hunter's armor as much as I did, look away now because you're about to get very upset. So, the hunter's armor is on the tier 3 bench. Let's have a look at the new recipe for it. You now need platinum weave, cured leather, rope, and epoxy. Obviously, the rope and epoxy isn't the issue, but yeah, it has gotten significantly more expensive now. It just means you've now got to hunt a lot more to get the leather, because you do need quite a bit of leather to make the cured leather, and, you know, obviously you need the platinum. So, yeah, you got to... It's definitely, in my opinion, a lot more difficult now to get into the hunter set. If you've got a decent enough pick, you can get platinum pretty fast. But you're going to have to be in tier 3 to cook the platinum, which is a bit of an annoying thing. But again, it really depends on your playstyle. But yeah, it really feels like people who want to wear the hunter's armor have really got to work for that now a little bit more than what they did before. The Sandworm armor hasn't changed in its recipe. It's still regular leather, fiber, and Sandworm scale, so you're going to still have to kill the boss to create the Sandworm armor. So these are the changes to the polar bear armor if you have the talent unlocked. You will now be required to use cured leather, but there is a reduction in polar bear pelts needed now for the armor pieces. So you're going to need 5 cured leather for the chest, 9 in total, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 cured leather, is that? In total to complete the full set of the polar bear armor. And the reduction in polar bear pelt is a nice touch with the addition of the cured leather. So the stats for the polar bear armor now is follows. For the full 5-piece set, you'll get plus 10% movement speed in the Arctic, minus 20% perceived threat in the Arctic, plus 5% exposure resistance in the Arctic. So start from the top. Let's just go for the chest piece. Plus 14% physical resistance, plus 30% cold resistance, minus 20% heat resistance, plus 5% exposure resistance. And the legs, plus 12% physical resistance, plus 20% cold resistance, minus 10% heat resistance, plus 6% exposure resistance. And for the headpiece, plus 4% physical resistance, plus 7% cold resistance, plus 4% exposure resistance. And for the arms, plus 3% physical resistance, plus 7% cold resistance, plus 4% exposure resistance. And for the feet, plus 3% physical resistance, plus 6% cold resistance, and plus 4% exposure resistance. It's definitely worth going for the polar bear armor now, but again, the same old arguments are going to be had. As long as the workshop armors are there, how useful are these for a veteran player? All of these are nice, they have their roles, but trying to get a veteran out of their mentality of not dropping down with armor and just running and doing the mission is a hard cycle to break. People are set in their ways now. Like, for myself, there are going to be missions where I still drop down with my workshop armor. If it's just a ridiculously short mission, it makes sense. I'm not going to stand around and craft these armors when I don't have to. But if it's a long mission and I want to spice things up and I want to try and keep 5 additional slots for myself, yeah, sure, I'll craft these. Yeah, no problem. But I think these are really going to be suited to newer players who are playing the game, who are coming into the game and haven't unlocked any workshop armor yet. I legitimately think new players would get a bigger benefit of these than some people who are more set in their ways. That's it for the notable changes regarding the armor and the benches. So, my question is to you: what do you think? Does this make you want to drop without armor now from the workshop? Do you think the changes are enough for you to drop down without armor? Let me know down in the comments, guys. And my takeaway from this week's feature content in the patch notes is the mower. I think we're getting a new bird mount to the game. I've done some research into what a mower is, and it's an extinct animal from New Zealand. Now, they did this with the bird from the Styx map with the Kia. So, yeah. I think we're going to get a new mount called the mower. It's been referenced in the future content. This isn't a spoiler. It's in the patch notes. So, yeah, I'll put a picture of it on the screen so you can have a look. This isn't from, like, the game files or anything like this, but this is what we could be looking at getting. Anyways, let me know down in the comments what you think of that. Make sure you like this video, guys. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. And, yeah, turn your notifications on